are the powers that Sonic has in the Sonic Movie 3. What incredible powers will he have in the Sonic Movie 4? As the Sonic Movie 3 is battling all the animated movies and winning and still making incredible box office numbers till this day, the Sonic Movie 3 is without a doubt one of the best animated projects that Paramount Pictures has ever made. It really seems incredibly well made and thought through, especially when you take into account the complexity of each one of these characters, because Shadow the Hedgehog, for example, has different powers and different abilities according to the different games that were released in the Sonic franchises. It's not just one. So how do you pick and choose which one of these powers to put in a movie that only lasts 2 hours? That's a whole dilemma for itself that the writers and the director had to really get into. For example, when it comes to Shadow the Hedgehog, he has different powers according to the game. So for example, in Sonic Adventure 2, he has super speed, being able to match Sonic's speed, chaos control, chaos spear. But then when we move to Sonic Heroes in 2003, we have chaos spear, but then we have Team Blast Chaos Inferno, destroying enemies and being able to slow down time. Then we move to Sonic the Hedgehog 2005, where he has weapon mastery, where he can use firearms, swords, and vehicles, which is exactly what we see in the movie and the trailer. Then in Sonic 06, we see Chaos Snap, and in Sonic Generations, we have Chaos Control again, briefly being able to slow time against the people who fight against him. So there is a variety of powers that the directors and the producers can put in the Sonic Movie 4 for each one of these characters. But of course, the protagonist and the star of the show, Sonic the Hedgehog, comes up when we ask these questions: what new powers will Sonic the Hedgehog have in the Sonic Movie 4? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about here today. We have a lot of information, new details, and new updates about the new powers that Sonic the Hedgehog will definitely have in the Sonic Movie 4 following the plotline of the previous movies. So without further ado, guys, and much talk, let's just get right into it. So to understand the powers that Sonic might have in the Sonic Movie 4, it's really important to understand the powers that he has in the games, because these are going to be the powers that the directors and the producers and the writers are going to use to include in the Sonic Movie 4. So the first hypothetical would be Hypersonic mode, a step beyond Supersonic. This transformation would make Sonic glow with a rainbow-colored aura, and his abilities are going to be this: faster than light speed movement, allowing him to teleport short distances, the ability to generate shockwaves in a way that can disorient his enemies in a way that he has never been able to do before, invulnerability to most attacks, even from reality warping powers like Metal Sonic or Eggman's powers. This would be incredibly interesting, as Hypersonic would be a transformation and a power that we would be really thrilled to see. Chaos Control Mastery would be the second one. Sonic has used the Chaos Emeralds before, but in the Sonic Movie 4, he could learn to use Chaos Control without needing an emerald in hand. And the abilities that he's going to be able to have with these powers is time stopping, slowing down time for everyone except himself. Also, dimensional travel, jumping through different dimensions at will, possibly leading to a Sonic multiverse, just like we see in other games. Instant recovery would also be another one within the Chaos Control Mastery that would allow him to use Chaos Energy to regenerate from damage faster. The third power that he would get in the Sonic Movie 4 is the Elemental Sonic forms. If Sonic absorbs different energies, he could develop element-based transformations. Electrosonic, absorbing electricity to supercharge his speed and shoot lightning bolts. Inferno Sonic, a fire-based form that lets him leave flaming trails and create fire tornadoes, better known as Fire Sonic. Glacier Sonic, a cold-based form that lets him create ice barriers and freeze enemies with wind dashes. This of course would be the absolute opposite of Fire Sonic. Then Sonic Clone Echoes would be another possibility, creating after images that become solid clones of himself, allowing Sonic to attack from multiple angles at once. We see this in Sonic games too. If he moves fast enough, the echoes might last for a few seconds after he stops moving. Then we would have Cosmic Speed Burst, a temporary power-up that lets Sonic reach speeds beyond even supersonic. These abilities can make him phase through solid objects by vibrating at an atomic level, generating a sonic boom powerful enough to shatter mountains that leaves behind stardust trails that confuse or slow down enemies. And then we would have another interesting power that would be energy constructs. Sonic would learn to shape chaos energy into weapons or barriers. He would be able to create energy swords for close combat, and we also see this in one of the Sonic games that we're going to talk about later in the video. Protective energy domes from block attacks, platforms to run on in midair. True Blue Overdrive is also one of the forms in the powers that we can see Sonic in the Sonic Movie 4. True Blue Overdrive is also one of the forms that we can see Sonic acquire as he grows with more powers and powers, the ultimate Sonic form being possibly unlocked when Sonic reaches his full potential. A fusion of hypersonic and chaos energy, giving him reality manipulation, being able to reshape the battlefield as he wishes, limitless speed, moving so fast that he can dodge before an attack even happens, and energy projection, massive energy beams strong enough to erase entire threats. These are basically the most probable and likely powers that Sonic will have in the Sonic Movie 4. Why these ones, and what are the details of this? Well, we also have a plot of how these powers are going to be acquired by Sonic that was leaked a couple of days ago that gives us more insight about this. Realizing he can't win the fight with Metal Sonic with his usual speed and strength, Sonic turns to Knuckles, who suggests seeking out the Lost Emerald shards, remnants of an ancient Chaos Emerald experiment that grants unique abilities. According to legend, these shards predate the Master Emerald and hold the power to manipulate elements beyond just speed. Tails and Knuckles then, as always, track down ancient texts in Angel Island ruins, revealing that the shards were scattered across Mobius long ago. If Sonic can absorb their energy, he might gain new abilities to counter Metal Sonic's adaptive AI. Then, Sonic sets off on a dangerous journey across Mobius, collecting shards one by one. Each shard grants him a new power. Crimson Shard grants Sonic the ability to ignite speed, leaving a trail of fire and executing mid-air flame bursts. Azure Shard, which lets Sonic phase through attacks momentarily and even run on water with enhanced speed. Emerald Shard, a weaker form of chaos energy that allows Sonic to release shockwave bursts and disrupt energy based on attacks. Obsidian Shard, which is the last one, alters gravity in small bursts, letting Sonic launch himself in any direction at high velocity. Each challenge to obtain the shard pushes Sonic to his limits. And then the final battle between Metal Overlord and Sonic with his new powers comes into place. Back in Central City, Neo Metal Sonic has evolved into Metal Overlord, as in the games, towering over the landscape with Eggman's massive war machines backing him up. Sonic arrives just in time with his new abilities glowing with raw energy. Using his Fire Dash, Sonic melts through Overlord's defenses. With Aqua Shift, he dodges energy blasts at the last second. With Chaos Pulse, he disrupts Metal Overlord's AI, giving Sonic an opening. Finally, with Gravity Surge, he launches himself into the air, delivering a shattering chaos impact that rips through Metal Overlord's core. Then, Neo Metal Sonic tries to reboot, but Sonic, now in control of his full elemental power, executes a final hyperspeed chaos vortex, completely overloading Metal Sonic's system. And that's how Sonic is finally able to get his powers and defeat his last enemy, Metal Sonic. So what do you guys think about these new powers that Sonic will definitely get in the Sonic Movie 4? Do you think they're really gonna be epic?